Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Whenever you're watching this, hopefully you're having an amazing day. But right now we've got severe weather potential as there is 2 days of enhanced risks. Today is March 24th, which, if you guys remember, 1 year ago today, Rolling Fork and Amory. We will take a look back later in another video, but right now we need to focus on the severe weather threat of the 24th through the 25th. As of right now, there is shower and thunderstorm activity up within here as of recording this at 4 p.m. And there's some all within here. What's expected is some of these discretes right here will produce some tornadoes. Hopefully not, but it is likely. Let's play it out for you guys. And by the time it gets into central Oklahoma here, by the time it gets to here, it should be in its weakening phase. As some of this rain right here, that rain right there that moves off, haven't recorded in a while. Because the rain right here, Emporia, Topeka, Oklahoma City, and these showers, these are what is going to stabilize the air, especially at the time you have this here, which stabilizes the air. I've seen it temporarily stabilize it, then go back to whatever. But with how close these bands are, I would say it's probably gonna still be stabilized by the time you get into tomorrow. And as we progress, your storms get significant and then they start weakening, which is why there is only a enhanced risk right for the Woodward, Clinton, and Pratt areas, which we'll get into discussion. If you are in Pratt, Medicine Lodge, Woodward, Alva, Weatherford, Clinton, and New Cordell, you need to be on the lookout as, let's take a look at your day 1 tornado risk. There is a 5% tornado for Chickasha, Reno, Enid, Woodward, Medicine Lodge, Pratt, Kingman, Dodge City, Great Bend, Larned. You guys have a chance for tornadoes. It's not going to be that high. Tomorrow, different story. Which we will be live tomorrow. I don't know if we'll be live today or not. We do have a 15% wind risk, which I all the way down into Brady, Texas, Fort Worth, Denton, Flower Mound, Wichita Falls, Lawton, which will play this off for you guys so you guys could see the reflectivity, which this is predicted reflectivity. It's not guaranteed to happen. Whoa. We might go live for Fort Worth tonight. That is a might, because I do have school tomorrow. Spring break is ending, so it's, you know. And then for your hail risk, which is the reason the enhanced was issued, ignore that. You have a 30% greater likelihood of seeing large hail. Now, I've experienced hail. I know how it is getting pounded in the head. Well, I recommend you guys to take your precautions from hail, which is stay indoors. If it's baseball sized, which is destructive, go into your innermost inner part of your house. Don't go to a storm cellar or basement. I usually like to call it your inside house tornado precautions. If you're in a mobile home, that's fine. But you need to be in an innermost inner part of your house when large baseball-sized hail is falling. That could save your life. Alright, let's get into synopsis here as let's take a look at your 2 point. And the dry line is not really that defined. Here's your low pressure system right here. Horrible, but you guys get the point. Now this right here is your dry line. Now notice how, we're going to point this out, there are some ridges. Just like this. These ridges could also produce tornadoes. Now this is not a highly marked dry line as most major tornadic events, but it's still something you guys should watch. And this is decently moist, like 50, 60 degree dew points in the green. And your light green. Your darker green gets into it more. Now you guys see we get a more moisture-rich environment. Where we have 50 to 60. Wait, ain't the light green? Oh, light green's 40s, but still enough to produce. Yeah, it's decently moist. I forgot the logistics of tornadoes for a second. Anyways, your dry line, not really there. We'll talk about tomorrow's event today, later. I want to show you guys something that I like to use. It is certainly helpful in a lot of cases. We're going to go into... No. Your cape, 0 to 3 cape, which will show us kind of what surface-based type cape is going to be. And what all we can see from these storms. As your storms push through, you're going to see some cape values upwards of to 200 joules per kilogram. Now, this is 0 to 3. When I look at the next cape, you're going to see a lot more than that, which is normal. Cape is convective available potential energy. I have to look on the NAM after this for you guys, which is what we're going to do because I trust NAM. Let's take a look at your supercell capacity. What supercell capacity is, it brings all of your everything about the environment together to see where a supercell can produce hail, winds, tornadoes, things like that. Ignore that. Sit. I'm kind of sick. We have this area along here. And your more likelihood of supercells are within here. Okay, so just be weather aware, be ready, and stay safe out there. And as we go into our surface-based cape, which you guys will see, 1,000 to 2,000 joules per kilogram is going to be possible. And then it'll all move out of the area. There's your low. And there's that. But what about tomorrow? Tomorrow is going to be very different. Tomorrow is going to be a little bit more crazier in the way of tornadoes. Let's take a deep dive. There's an enhanced risk 3 out of 5 on the severe weather scale for Greenville, Monroe, Vicksburg, Jackson, Natchez. I said that right finally. Oh, I remember on, like, there was a stream here. I think it was Rolling Fork in specific. So Rolling Fork tomorrow. I'm gonna make a tornado prediction now. Yazoo City. If you guys know what I do here, it's also a joke. There's a 10% significant tornado risk, which means there is the potential of significant tornadoes. And at any given area, which I'll show you guys here in a second. Move all of that behind, and I'll show you guys. Within this area that I'm highlighting in white has a 10% greaterhood of a tornado. Significant tornado meaning EF2 to EF5, EF5 being the highest, EF2 being the lowest significant. EF0 and EF1, they're weak. So, and as you move up in the scale, this is EF2, EF2 to mid-range EF3, that's significant. Once you get to EF4, you have violent, and once you get to EF5, you have what we call significant. No, intense. Significant, yes. Intense, yes. Same thing at that point. Anyways, let's go ahead and show you guys the tornado risk here, which is associated with day 2, which is tomorrow. Now, yes, I know. Why did I say Yazoo City for tornadoes? Well, anytime there's severe weather in like this area of Mississippi, there's always a tornado or tornado warning for Yazoo City. So I just want to make that prediction now, get it out of the way. Let's take a look at NAM 12 for you guys who know what I'm talking about. NAM 12. NAM 12 shows 900 to 800 joules per kilogram CAPE, and I'm very estimating here. Yeah, upwards to like 15,000. It's not the best for tornadoes. However, if we take a look here at, which we'll go into the synopsis of how this event's going to start here in a little bit. So here's day 2. Let's take a look at your bulk shear. Now your bulk shear, which is a big part of your setup here. To make sure I was correct on that. You guys could see there's some sufficient shear, not the best shear you want for tornadoes. However, as you go into the event itself, you see more sufficient and better shear for tornadoes, which that just means that, hey, there's a good chance of some strong tornadoes. Now, I'm not going to go in depth. This is one day out. And yes, I know it's one day out, which I need to go in depth, but, you know. This area, within your 1s to 2s, your hodographs, which we're going to show here in a second, are very significant. They are curved to a great angle. I feel like long track tornadoes are possible. And per the NWS Storm Prediction Center, a deep upper troughing is forecasted to be in place in the central CONUS Monday, CONUS, continental United States. Several shortwave troughs will be embedded with this large parent upper troughing, including one over the Mid-Valley, Missouri, which is one of the reasons why. A secondary cold front dry line will also extend southward. I'm highlighting specific things for you guys. That should always be over here. I'm not sure why it's not. And we're going to pull this up on the Storm Prediction Center website, which you guys like to trust. Because I search for keywords. Very impressive wind fields are anticipated within the region. Southeasterly surface winds ahead of the dry line contributing to large looping, low-level hodographs. Additionally, very strong shear vector will be with a notable line perpendicular orientation. Consequently, there's likely a risk for robust forward propagating line capable of strong winds, embedded QLCS tornadoes. Also, given that the line is expected to be fairly weak at the beginning of the period, there's a chance for more discrete updrafts as the reintensification of the line begins, particularly within the southern extent. The air mass will become less unstable with the westward extent into Alabama, and the anticipation for the overall intensity of the line to weaken as it moves into Alabama overnight. So stating that as this line moves into Alabama, your line's going to be weakening throughout your overnight hours, which is good news. So there's that. Well, what are they talking about? Troughs and hodographs. Well, hodographs, which we're going to show here in a second, I'm not just going to take off. Well, let's get to your troughing first. I'll take a look at your 500 millibar. This is your trough right there, which we'll talk about this. This is a trough right here. And by embedded troughs, which you guys will see here shortly, this is a big trough within here. But right here is another trough. Which is embedded within this great big, what we call bowling ball, actually. This is what's considered a bowling ball trough. That's very large. But within this embedded line, you can see tornadoes, things like that, because of this embed. This trough is looking negative. So on top of the trough being negative, which is never a good ideal, you're seeing the trough having an embedded positive tilt, which never works to be good. Alrighty, what does hodograph mean exactly? That's what we're here to tell you. Let's go here. Well, this right here is your hodograph. Each of these colors represents a point in the atmosphere, like this. This is surface-based. This is 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12 Cape. I mean, not Cape, but kilometers in the atmosphere. But this is really what's needed. If you see a curving like this in a photograph, you're likely going to see tornadoes, maybe 1 or 2 long track, depending. And over here, this is your cape. Also, I would like to mention that these right here are wind barbs. And we usually look off onto the lower end of it for tornadoes. Right here. We look here for tornadoes. What is the shear? Which you guys see, we have. Then we start tilting a little. And once you get to a certain point, this is what we call wind shear. So that's wind shear for you guys. I know this video is not supposed to be this long. I'm sorry. We'll have a video out tomorrow morning, pretty early. This right here is a skew T plot, or this right here is your temperature. The red line is your temperature. Your green line's dew point. You guys can see relative humidity of 100%. The further away your red and green are, it's the less relative humidity or slash moisture depth for weather meanies that you have. And so when you have them touching, like literally on top of each other, your relative humidity is 100%. I'm explaining this to you in easy terms because I know none of y'all probably know this. This white line here is the partial. This red line is temperature, and everything in between is CAPE, convective available potential energy. And then we can look down here to see some specifics of the atmosphere, such as how much CAPE forecasted, things like that, precipitatable water, which is 1.4 inches, things like that. And that can tell us, hey, is there going to be a tornado outbreak or not? I know there's going to be some tornadoes. Your National Weather Service in New Orleans has said long tracks. Don't expect it much, hopefully. That's going to have to be the video because we have had this video for 23 minutes. Not your average weather video because a lot of us can do it faster. But I want to explain to you guys what this all means. There's going to be a video coming out later soon. I don't know when. With like all of my terms that I will say. That way you guys can have reference to know what I'm talking about. And that way you can watch this 10-minute video sometime and understand everything, which is knowledge to the power. You guys get what I'm saying? Alright, that's gonna have to be it. I'll see you guys next time. See you guys tomorrow morning. Bright and early, 6 a.m.